Hey everyone, XanaGear here. They just posted the patch notes for patch 1.21.0C. It means that they've been internally patching it through A and B since the last patch we got was 1.20.4D. And this is the first patch since, let's see, March 24th. So it's been a couple months, about a month and a half. Since it is currently May 10th, 2021. And yeah, so new patch. Of course, I'm going to record a video where I read the notes, but to give you a quick update on my life and channel, since this is, I know a lot of the time, most people just watch my patch note videos and my streams, might not catch a lot of my other videos. So I thought I'd just say that I have been streaming consistently 6 days a week while I gear up to move in the next couple months. I've been streaming Spelunky 2, co-op, speedruns most days, as well as playing some full playthroughs like Nier and right now Resident Evil 8. So if you want to stop by my stream and hang out, I stream every night around 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And without further ado, let's get into the patch notes. The first patch note is fixed teleport. This is obviously pretty ambiguous for people that might not know that it was broken, but before in the last patch they broke the teleporter, so we've been living with that for about a month and a half, and in that time a lot of people have gotten teleporter world records. But the gist of it is that when you teleport vertically, when you're hovering in the air, you can't immediately teleport right after, which was a serious problem because you couldn't save yourself from spikes and other stuff like that. So this fix will hopefully result in a few faster teleporter speedruns being done. The 90% speedrun right now is below, let me actually look at it. The teleporter speedrun world record right now is 1 minute and 43 seconds, which was done on the current patch or the previous patch. So we could be looking at a 130 something if people really go for it. Obviously will still be very difficult. I think part of the thing that contributed to a lot of teleporter runs being finished last patch was the fact that you couldn't teleport as fast, which meant a lot of people were doing a lot safer teleports. So we'll see what happens. The next patch is players can now use doors during the throwing animation. Fixed Vlad's cape double jump on jumping from a rope while attacking or throwing a bomb. Players are now able to whip against a fragile floor while climbing it with climbing gloves. Prevented vendor, that'll help on the bubble wrap in Sunken City, I believe. Prevented vendors from angering on touching honey during their patrol phase. I guess they now like honey. They don't hate it anymore enough to pull out a gun. Prevented vendors from increasing wanted level when their corpse gets destroyed by a snap trap. Fixed case where players were not being blamed when they caused a UFO to explode in a shop. Prevented vendors and NPCs from blaming the player if they receive damage from a corpse thrown by themselves. Prevented player corpses from stomping monsters. Prevented on-sale held backpack from being dropped when the vendor gets angered and the player already has the same backpack equipped. Fixed players not being able to grab paste bombs attached to their bodies under some circumstances. I haven't tested this myself, but I think that allows you to maybe drop the bombs that stick to you on Undone. We'll see. Improved Cobra's acid spit to make it more unlikely to affect the player when the player had just stomped the Cobra right as the spit had just spawned is such a massive change. So happy about this one. That means that you're not just going to get poisoned when jumping on Cobras now. Because I've gotten used to waiting to jump on the Cobras. Because I was so worried they'd poison me when I jumped on them, which felt so broken. I'm really glad they fixed that. Prevented Springtrap from pushing the punish ball if the ball can break floors. Prevented chained spike ball from damaging the player when the player is climbing down its chain while the ball is falling. Prevented sticky traps from trapping players that are entering into a pipe. Sparrow will now drop a rope pile instead of a single rope. Added a reward on finishing Sparrow's quest, which I will spoil, so if you don't want to know it, you can skip about 3 seconds ahead. The reward is 24 ropes, which is a lot of ropes, which will hopefully allow us to do rope percent a little easier, which is when you kill Tiamat with 40 ropes. Fixed issue where challenge rooms might not spawn when the co-op player coffin rooms had to be created. Fixed bombs thrown by the pitcher's mitt being trapped on a body. Armored All Might bouncing back and forth. That bug is amazing. I submitted that because I saw it on TikTok stream. He threw a bomb at an All Might and it ping-ponged really rapidly and then exploded. Very funny looking. Prevented monsters spawned from special coffins from dropping any treasure. Prevented dice from being stolen in co-op by just holding them in the shop while the other player leaves the level. Part 2. Fixed dice shop reward position on carrying 2 different dice from another level. Climbing gloves now protect against thorny vines while climbing, which will help out in Cosmic Ocean quite a bit. Fixed double jump on attacking and jumping at the same time. Visually noticeable when having spring shoes. Fixed Collie giving duplicated items to the default player under certain circumstances. Prevented players from being killed by reversed spikes when the player enters the spikes touching the ceiling while using a jetpack. This is something that I definitely wanted fixed early on. Very good change. Prevented cat mummy from disappearing when colliding with a blinking player. Fixed All Mights teleporting inside floors on being attacked while they are on an elevator. Reduced mole digging iframes. You can now whip a mole as it burrows out or in, and also jump on it. You don't just hop on it with iframes now. Added iframes to the presence content. Fixed boomerangs not being whippable under certain circumstances. Underwater coffins should no longer deal damage when bouncing. Fixed shield position after using a pipe. Added treasure picking iframes after using a pipe. Let's go. That is the hypest patch note in history. No gold sunken city is no longer a freaking nightmare. It's still a nightmare, but it's not a nightmare. Fixed Matic being unable to break a push block if the push block was over a door. Prevented vendors' coins from spawning inside floors. Fixed powder keg exploding when placing a bomb on it. That is very good. Fixed jump delay on attacking and jumping at the same time while climbing. Fixed turkey's neck not damaging entities on attacking while the rider has unmounted. One vault should now always appear on each theme. This is a guaranteed score run change. You now get a vault in every level. Before it was up to total chance. Sometimes you just wouldn't get any vaults and your score run would be ruined. This is an amazing change. Ghost split timers changed from 30 seconds to 60 seconds, 30 seconds. So that first split, when it splits into 2, now it doesn't happen until 60 seconds. It's a big change, especially I think for Sunken City, where a lot of people would run up against that timer after doing this Sun Challenge. Big spender discount increased to 10%, up from 5%. That's good. Skeleton key now also opens Ujet's eye chest. That is makes the skeleton key actually useful. You can now use that for chain runs. You can use it for a lot of different things. If you get a shop in 1-2 that has a skeleton key, and you can use that to go and do a chain run and save a bit of time. Bouncing off of enemies while stomping slightly increased in order to be able to reach certain ledges. Now you can hop a little higher. Firebugs will no longer spawn below the drill, making it slightly easier for players to go down more safely. Player Ghost Blow can now move vendors' corpses. Fixed turkey not being cursed on breaking a cursed pot with its head. Head attack. UFOs in attack mode will now be affected by the camera flash. Part 3. Fixed butterfly state after being moved from a vine with a shield. Webs will now fade out when the player is pushing a block through them. This will help speedruns a bit. Prevented totem traps from triggering by a mole digging. That's an interesting change. Fixed issue where stunned players were still sometimes stomping enemies. Fixed issue where players tossed against other entities were using the stomp damage visual effect. Fixed issue where the easy boss's scream could glitch when hitting a player that's holding a shield. Crashes. Fixed rare crash when completing the sun challenge. Fixed crash when ending NPCs picks up a pickable item. Fixed telepack related crash. New features. Ending playable characters are now unlocked from daily runs. This will be good for some of you who like doing the daily but feel like they might not unlock the character at the end of it. Added, I'm sorry if I've mispronounced this. Is it sinus? Or asinus? Or asinus? I don't know. I'm going to say all of the pronunciations, and I'll still be wrong. Constellation suffix for true crown wearers. So this is now a true crown constellation. This was something a lot of players have been requesting. So now gives the true crown a purpose in a way. Added total players count to leaderboards, so you know just how good you are. Online/leaderboards. Fixed block when a player with an onk in use is disconnected. Added controller vibration and taskbar icon flash when a new player joins the lobby. Optimized leaderboard cache. Ending a daily will now redirect to leaderboards. This is something that I felt immediately when I started playing the game. I was like, wait a minute, this isn't like HD. In Spelunky HD, you'd go back to the leaderboard and you'd be able to see your run. So this is great. So part 4. Made hired hands more collaborative, preventing them from going for the same target at the same time. Fixed hired hands pickup priorities. Added a short time margin to prevent hired hands from moving as soon as the level starts. Prevented hired hands from attacking targets that are being held. Fixed hired hands remaining motionless on losing the path to the player. Prevented hired hands from staying motionless on thorny vines. Prevented hired hands from trying to pick up entities placed on thorny vines. Hired hands will now drop the shield on being whipped. Hired hands will now drop the shield if they are about to crush a player. Prevented hired hands from fleeing from passive gists. Improved detection and handling of falling damage, including falling on lava and some other dangerous places. Improved hired hands upward whip attacks. Prevented hired hands from changing their looking direction while attacking. Improved hired hands attack to try to prevent them from touching the target during the attack. Prevented hired hands from shooting robots and body armored all knights. Improved hired hands totem/lion trap handling. Improved hired hands mosquitoes handling. Improved AI stealing spikes detection. Fixed hired hands not crossing a door while the player is already crossing it. Hired hands in lost state will now pick up items as well. Hired hands will now try to stomp monsters that can throw or shoot. Moved hired hands save point in Olmec to the entrance. Hired hands can now pick items up while resting in Olmec's lair. Improved hired hands conveyor belt handling. Hired hands will now try to stomp mummy cats. Hired hands will now try to stay away from floating orbs. Cancelled hired hands attack to a dangerous mount if it starts being tamed. Fixed certain child's state when he receives damage while he's sleeping in a certain place. Hired hands will now look for rebel hired hands while in stay put mode. Hired hands will now grab and throw paste bombs attached to their bodies. Hired hands will now stomp frozen players. Deathmatch AI will now search for sliding wall switches as well. Prevented deathmatch AI from trying to attack players on pipes. Fixed case where the AI was unable to attack players on a one-tile gap. Lots of hired hands changes. Minor/visuals. Killing easy boss with landmines no longer voids pacifist, which is great for Moss ranking. We can now, in the past, people were using the landmine whenever it didn't invalidate pacifist. We can now reinstate those runs, which is cool. Fixed controller input mapping on switching slots in the character selection scene. Fixed a lot of wrong death causes. Fixed a player rotation on passing from a rope to a ladder. Fixed player ghost suddenly disappearing in special tunnels. Fixed pet state in the tunnel after a certain golden world. added ceiling to doors during the tunnel transition on certain froggy themed levels, prevented hit effects in Lahamu on attacking her with a sword-like weapon after killing her, prevented thin ice platform from getting on fire by attacking it with a power pack. The so close message will now only appear if the next zone still remains undiscovered. Fixed grub color values on evolving. Changed mounts journal's background. Centered waddler image in the journal. That's the most important patch note. Fixed on sale backpack looking direction on angering a vendor. Slightly improved pop-ups look. Fixed old sister breath position on ice caves. Okay. Fixed run recap name and killed by count for medium and small ghosts. Fixed names in the run recap for some traps. Fixed timed powder keg not unlocking the powder keg journal entry. Timed powder keg's journal entry will now unlock on moving the idol. Fixed Kali's message on sacrificing dice. Fixed camera transition when players went in and out or out of the training grounds. Fixed weapons depth after attacking and jumping at the same time while climbing. NPC dialogue sounds are now still played even if the dialogues are turned off. Aligned certain king's face. Fixed beehive tile. Fixed more artifacts and textures. Fixed NECA's push animation. Fixed Ao's long fall animation. Fixed Lamasu's face during the flying animation. Fixed some capital letters and typos in text. Tweaked or added a couple of new room layouts in both the jungle and a certain froggy themed world. So I've seen some of these in streams this morning, and there's a lot of new subrooms in Sunken City that allows for less vertical, where you'd go up and over with the pipe. So speedruns are now a little easier, a little faster. It's a good thing. Some more blocked path fixes, and that's it. So big patch, huge one. Really feels like they're working on the Switch version right now, and they're just doing little tweaks here and there, and then putting them into the PC version. So hopefully we get some more news on that Switch release, and I will have any announcements that they do on my YouTube channel right here. So if you like my videos, consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good one.